Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's CPI day, Tuesday, November 14th. I have in my notes, this is the monthly data from October that we got at 8:30. If it shows the Fed won the fight against inflation, that's going to set us up for a Santa Claus rally. The numbers came in and they're unbelievable. I mean, just 0% 1 month change, unchanged. Year over year, 3.2%. You're getting down to that 2% that the Fed wants. It's 1/10 lighter than expected. Rates on bonds just crashed. Again, this is the first time you're under 4% since May of 2021. If you're not following Tom Lee on Twitter, get out there and follow Tom Lee. This was him last night. And the quote is, I think if we get something light, that we could face a face-ripping rally like we had in July. I mean, the guy has been way more right than wrong. So follow him. Make sure you're following him. Understand, nobody knows for sure what's going to happen, but Tom Lee has a way of just, looking at the data, getting his feelings out of the way, and saying, yeah, I'm a bull. I mean, let's Mike Wilson from, is not going to say, oh my God, CPI rally came in and we're lighter than expected. Mike Wilson's probably going to come out and say, hey, this is going to be the greatest crash of all time. Tom Lee has been right. And speaking of emotions, if you want to take emotions out of your trade, TrendSpider's your thing. For everybody that signed up and emailed me last night, there were a lot of signups. I got to email you back. I promise I will email you back. I'll get to it after this. I'm recording a video with Jason from TrendSpider this afternoon. So look for that one later this week. But Elite, take advantage of this sale. Again, $382 if you pay for the 1 year and you want to take advantage of the 7 days free. If you've seen me enough and you think, hey, TrendSpider's something that I want, save the $82. That's, it's $10 a day you're paying for a 7-day trial. Save it and just go $296. Now, if you're not sure about TrendSpider, I would say start on this, $43.45 per month. Just start on that one, and you get 7 days free. It is expensive. This is $521. This is $382, and this one is $296. So you're talking about a fairly good spread. Flexibility is this. This is, hey, I'm not sure if I want it. This one is, I've watched Gary enough. Shit, $296, I'm taking it. So that's the way I look at those three offers. And again, like I said, Tom Lee takes emotions out of his predictions. He just looks at the data. That's what TrendSpider is. It just looks at the data. And so speaking of the data, we've been in QQQ since 353. Let's see, the so far, if we bought with that one, and you're up here in pre-market at 383, that's an 8% rally here in the Qs. Now, I always say in these rallies, because November was going to be a seasonally strong month, so I bought TQQQ and I've been adding since about 31. I tried to time it. That is what I always say a button hook looks like, half a circle. So I bought it down here at about 31, we'll say 31.82. Right now you are in pre-market at 42.53. That is a 30% gain. That's what I'm sitting in. Now understand, TQQQ is a fantastic tool to trade. I went over it in my newsletter this weekend. I went over what this week tells us, what this week told us about the direction of the market. This is my paid newsletter, and I went over this. And I went over what I was going to do with TQQQ, what I was going to do with Uber, what I was going to do with Palantir, what I was going to do with Microsoft, Cleveland Cliffs, NVIDIA, all of this stuff. All of this stuff has tight stop losses because I wasn't sure exactly what was going to happen. If you want the free newsletter, it's dailystockpick.substack.com, but my Linktree is probably the best place to get everything. It's Linktree, linktr.ee/dailystockpick. But understand this, the daily newsletter is free other than the weekend stuff. But I said, hey, I'm doing this. I've stuck to my plan. have a plan. Understand that the weekend is for you to put your week and your plan in place. That's what you do on the weekend. That's why I use TrendSpider so much more often on the weekend. I use it during the week, and I have alerts set up, but I use it for significant other purposes to make sure that my portfolio is set up in the right way. So that's why I like TrendSpider. And like I said, Tom Lee called it. The face ripping rally that we have. This is up 32%. That is just crazy. Another newsletter that you should follow is My Weekly Stock Pick. And if you guys know, My Weekly Stock is, he's up. I mean, he picked Microsoft on this run. His newsletter is My Weekly Stock. Let me see. It's My Weekly Stock, myweeklystock.substack.com. Fantastic algorithm. And it's free. And essentially, he sends you an email on Monday and says, here's my stock. And if you want to get it, buy it on Monday, sell on a Friday. That's his entire algorithm. He doesn't use charts, doesn't use anything like that to send it to you. He basically uses his algorithm that has a proven track record. So this week it's Microsoft. You can't argue with his pick. His pick has been Microsoft. You have Microsoft on a golden cross. You have confirmation. In pre-market, this one's up 371. Crazy good week. Another one that is a solid pick. This one was just over 500. It's at 497 right now. We've been talking about this one since 416. I said, hey, under 400, you should absolutely get this one. Well, let's take a look at some of this. Let's say you bought it here at 397 because it dipped under 400. You didn't time it correctly. You're at 497 right now. Let's see where that takes us. That takes us up here. That's a 25% gain, and you're still in, and your earnings are coming out on November 21st. And they announced that they have a new AI chip. In fact, let's go over to Seeking Alpha. Let's see if Seeking Alpha has that news story on NVIDIA about the new chip. I didn't do my research on this one, but let's see. You go over here to Seeking Alpha. If you haven't signed up for Seeking Alpha, sign up for a free one. NVIDIA gains at it updates Hopper with H200 model. This is the new one. They have pricing power. I would expect this to act the same way as it did on the last earnings. Remember last earnings, we bought under 400. And it ripped to 500. I think that's exactly what you're going to see here. I think in this market, this one has $550 to $600 if a good rally is taken on this one. Solid play. I think I own AMD. AMD just got an upgrade with On Semiconductors. I'll include this in the newsletter so you can see it. AMD right now. It is not in the core portfolio. The reason it's not in core portfolio is just because NVIDIA's in there, and Qualcomm's in there. I think those are two companies that are solid. I think AMD is following NVIDIA a little bit, and they're in parity. But you can see here, $98 was the buy-in. I've got an average purchase price of around 105 on this one, 106. I think it's closer to 100. Not quite sure, but I'm in this one fairly big. I've got, 5-figure investment in this one. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a solid play if you want to do the chips. Qualcomm, we talked about, I said it's in the core portfolio. This one's up 2.54%. I said, hey, before earnings, you should buy this when it dips close to 100. Well, if you bought this, you're up 15% in pre-market. This is at 127. That's way up here. So you've even got more than a 15% gain. Again, the core portfolio is there to help pick stocks that, in my mind, during these face-ripping rallies, you will benefit from. So make sure you're following the core portfolio. If you want to follow that, just go over to the link tree. Go down here to Savvy Trader. I've got two portfolios. There's a trading portfolio and there's a core portfolio. You can follow either one that you want. I suggest the core portfolio. The trading portfolio is up by 8.35. That's going to skyrocket over the next couple of days because Palantir is one. Palantir, solid stock. We can look at this one. I said in the paid newsletter, it's going to get over 20. It's over 20. It's at $20.14. I need to set my stop losses at 20. I'll just tell you that was the plan on this one. Is once it gets over 20, I'm going to set my stop losses, lock in profits. Doesn't mean I sell at $20.14. It means if today this face-ripping rally gets turned on its ear, say Jerome Powell comes out and says, you know what? This rally's a bit too much. We're seeing it extended. We are going longer, higher for longer. And I reiterate that could take the face-ripping rally off the table. This one would dip that back down to 19. So I'm going to set my stop loss, make sure I lock in my profits. This one has been a solid winner. You can go over to the Savvy Trader and just look at when I bought this one. There was an interesting article, and this one's interesting. Berkshire Hathaway, time to be greedy. I'll include this in the newsletter, and you can read it. I read this one, and I said, hey, Berkshire Hathaway, solid thing. The only thing you want to be aware of is Warren Buffett is old. If Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger passes away, and listen, we're all going to pass away at some point. They're up there in age. They're still mentally super, super sharp. Understand, they are just unbelievably sharp when it comes to the market. This one on a 4-hour, you dipped under your 200-day. I've said it before. When a stock like this dips under its 200-day, it's an opportunity to buy. This isn't one that you buy and then just kind of trade. It's not going to rip like that. This is one where you add to your position as it dips and you just hold on to it. It's been a solid play. If we go to Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB, I'm going to do this, let's say BRK.B in Seeking Alpha. And you can get this for free. Click on the link and get Seeking Alpha. You don't have to pay for the whole thing, but I do think the paid version is significantly worth it. It's $189 and it gives you so much. Look at that 3-year. Berkshire Hathaway, 53%. S&P, 24%. 5-year. Berkshire Hathaway matches the S&P. 10-year. Berkshire Hathaway beats it by 50%. So if you just look at the max on this one, we go way back. The S&P is up 800%, but that goes all the way back to 1993. This Berkshire Hathaway is up 540%. So I like Berkshire Hathaway. I think it can be a core in your portfolio, along with VOO, along with SPY, whatever you want as far as the S&P trackers go. So I think it's a great stock to hold. And that article tells you why it's time to load up on Berkshire Hathaway. So, okay. Social requests. Now that I've done Berkshire Hathaway, social requests, a new podcast, Bullish Bites, off of Instagram. They follow me, a couple of kids. They're great. They're fantastic. You should follow them. I will include their quote in the newsletter. So if you want it, it's bullish _bites, BYTES on Instagram. Love the podcast on Spotify. I'm really thinking about TrendSpider. Although I usually trade options, they're options trader. You guys know I don't trade options. Keep an eye on CrowdStrike. We love them. Maybe feature them on the next podcast. CrowdStrike, I own. I own CrowdStrike and I own Palo Alto Networks. We'll go over CrowdStrike first. I think my average price is about $150 on this one. Here's what you have to know. You're at all-time highs here. You're breaking 200. Today, it's up 2.16% with this rally. You've got earnings coming up on November 28th. Palo Alto Networks is the one that I actually have in the core portfolio. And this one has earnings, I think, coming up Thursday, November 15th. So tomorrow after the bell, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Post-market. Tomorrow after the bell. CrowdStrike will trade with Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks had a little dip here. And the reason it had a dip is because the one company that's really making a lot of money hasn't been doing well, and that's Fortinet. And Fortinet had their earnings, and they brought their estimates down. The question I have is, did Fortinet customers go to Palo Alto Networks or CrowdStrike? They might be doing different things with cybersecurity, but they're all under the cybersecurity blanket. CrowdStrike, the reason I own CrowdStrike is because I think they're the fastest grower, but Palo Alto's the big daddy of the group. So I own both just because CrowdStrike is a solid name. The RSI is at 74. I would say set your stop losses on this Breaking above 200, if we close above 200, that is a huge thing. You guys know NVIDIA didn't close above 500. It hit that 500 in aftermarket and then continued to go down. CrowdStrike is significantly expensive. We can go over here and look at some of the PEs. The forward PE on CrowdStrike is 56. If we go to PanW, the forward PE is 40. If you go to Fortinet, the forward PE is 29. Remember, the average forward PE should be about 17 or 18. Now, Fortinet is down, is up 2.88%. CrowdStrike is up 90% year to date. The average target price is $199. You've blown past that. Be very, very careful. November 13th, Stifel said 225. October 19th, Jeffrey said 225. Remember, these are usually stretch targets. So it's not always like, hey, it's going to hit 225 and just blow past it. They're going to have significant earnings in order to blow past this. The insiders are selling. The insiders are selling at 185. They're not selling huge. I mean, the director sold $5 million. This one was president and CEO sold $9 million at 162. That's nothing. I mean, he needed a house in France. That's all that is. But I love CrowdStrike. I think it's solid. I just would be worried about I am personally probably going to start trimming this at over 200. But we have to see if it closes over 200 today. That's a solid pick, though. I like that one. Sam from Facebook, what's your opinion on VKTX? This is Viking. Let's see. VKTX. Viking Therapeutics. At first glance, it looks like it could have some good upside with GLP-1 hype, but seems to be a lot of insider selling. I'm thinking it could be a rug pull waiting to happen. I think the rug pull has happened. I'm honestly looking at this chart. The rug pull has already happened. And it hasn't finished. I mean, you got this gap down here between 409 and 546. They're losing money. VKTX. And again, when you ask me about this stuff, it's outside of my wheelhouse. I know nothing about biotechnology. I don't know anything about their GLP-1 stuff. GLP-1 is crazy good. I know nothing about Viking, though. If it has GLP-1 stuff, you can do your research. The average target price is $33. It's trading at $9. Take that with a grain of salt because it's only been covered, 3 times this year? And they're about 22, 25, but those are all from March and May. Things change, and maybe their earnings aren't as good. It's only up 5.62. I wouldn't invest in this company. I mean, look at that downside. And on the 4-hour algorithm, if we run it, now, the only good news is the 4-hour algorithm makes you 66% over 2 years. Just buying and holding has made you 60%. I think it's hype. And look at the last 3 buys that you had. It got you out with a loss. The 50 days moving negative, the 200 days moving negative. I just don't see it. Sam, I don't see anything positive in this one. Fatima from Spotify, greeting from the Netherlands. What do you think of Chinese stocks, Baba, Baidu, JD, etc.? These will report this week. Valuations are ridiculously low. Love your podcast and Free Palestine. I will not comment on the Free Palestine stuff. I've heard some really good stuff. I'm in the middle on that one. I have no dog in the fight. I just wish there was peace, and I wish there was a way that Israel could live in peace as well. It is what it is. But if you want politics, go to another one. I just wish there was peace and no killing. I mean, if that's a political agenda for me, that's my political agenda. But let's look at Baba, because that's the one that I know, and that's the one that's beaten down. Here's what, President Biden is meeting with Xi, I think this week or next week. Baba's a hard one, because when we go long term, this one hasn't traded well at all. And you're at levels where they IPO'd at. 82, you got down here. Even during COVID, it didn't get this low. When the world was shut down, Baba was not this low. So remember, you're owning a piece of paper. It's not like you're owning the company. And all of these companies, China is just not recovering well whatsoever. So while the opportunity looks like it's there, I'd be a little bit suspect. Xi's agenda is not doing well. It's not doing well at all. Cutting off the outside world and the West world, it's not moving anything positive for him. So I'd be a little bit suspect. I'd rather miss out on the first 10% and get the additional 90% back to all-time highs. But I'd rather be patient with that, Fatima. And there's better places to put your money in the market. Let's just see. SMCI. What have I been saying? SMCI under 250, you're going back up here to 350. If you want to play NVIDIA earnings, I think this one is a solid play. Right now, you don't have confirmation. You're kind of getting that button hook. But again, at 255, I don't think it's crazy to buy at 255. Now, in pre-market, you're at 265. That's where you have confirmation. You're getting the golden cross again. You had your death cross. You're going to get your golden cross really soon, because 265 is under the 200-day. 271 is your resistance level at the 200-day. But you're up 3.75%. If we're going to continue a face-ripping rally, this is one that will continue to go. So Fatima, I can't say, hey, buy the China stocks. I may be wrong. Trade them all you want. But I can't say, hey, it's time to put your money in here and sit on it. Salah Daniel says, hey, any thoughts on Macy's? They have earnings in 2 days. I love Macy's. Longtime listeners will know Macy's e-commerce did fantastic things during the pandemic. The problem with Macy's is they just have too much cost, and cost is getting in the way of their business. You can see on the 4-hour here, it's just been in a slide. If the consumer is weakening, and consumer with discretionary spending is weakening, this one might take a huge hit. So November 15th here, it is their earnings. I think it's after the bell, if I'm right. Yeah. Oh, no, pre-market. So it's tomorrow pre-market, so you'd have to own it today. I don't think there's any reason to take a chance on these earnings. Could you pop back up here to 12? Absolutely. If they have crazy good earnings, you could absolutely be at 12. I would take a look at FinViz or Seeking Alpha. Let's go over to Seeking Alpha and see Seeking Alpha. And let's take a look at Macy's right here, because I have a feeling it's not going to be a buy in the quant rating systems. Let's see. Oh, it is a buy. And the Seeking Alpha analysts love it. Wall Street hold at 3.2, but the quant has it at 2.8. So I trust the quant a little bit. If you want to look at charting, I mean, just look at it against the S&P. You're down 50% over 1 year. 3 year over the S&P, you're up 42%. But the S&P is up 24%. I mean, look at the volatility of this. I think they gained during the pandemic because they did so much good things. I talked about getting towels, I think, and seeing the towels, how ridiculously cheap towels were on e-commerce, and I could go over to Macy's and pick them up same day. So their e-commerce, I don't shop at Macy's, full disclosure, I don't. So I'm probably not the best, but that chart right there doesn't give me confidence that, hey, there's something going on here. If I look maybe on the weekly, that line up there, well, that's just the VWAP pulled all the way back. I mean, look at it. It's about to get a death cross on the weekly. I can't. I could be wrong, but again, I think there's, to go back to Fatima's thing on the China stock, there's better places to put your money than Macy's. I'd rather see Macy's. I'd rather see you buy Macy's at maybe $11 on its way back to $14. Rather than buying at $10.74 and then getting stopped out at $9 and losing a ton of money tomorrow. Let's talk about scans. First one, Oxy. This is a Warren Buffett favorite. We talked about Berkshire. I'd probably put, if you're looking to trade, I think Oxy's a good trade here at 61. I think you get back to 65. That's close to a 10%. You got a good dividend in between. Your catalysts are gone. So your catalyst really is just, hey, what's the price of oil? That's essentially what you're trading with Oxy. Same thing with Devon. Their earnings are done. I think this one gets back to 50. You're buying at 45. So you're getting close to 10%. But again, you're buying downward trending stocks in an energy market that wants to continue to go down. So that's what's dangerous about these energy stocks. Exxon, we talked about the big Exxon insider buy yesterday. Exxon at 104, you kind of got that button hook. But again, you had this death cross. So it's just, all these earnings are done, and you're just trading on the price of oil. So, but these stocks have great dividends where they give back to their shareholders, and they buy back a ton of stock. So I think it's a solid play. I just don't know. The price of oil is just so manipulated that it's hard to say, hey, it's great. Pepsi is not participating in the face-ripping rally. It's staying at 167. I don't know if it's just not open. I don't know if TrendSpider has a delay in the data, but Pepsi just says 167. So, but it does have a cross up here. You're in at 161. Like I said, anything under 170 on this one, I think is a solid play. The problem that you have is you are in a downward 200-day, but that 50-day is starting to move positive. Here's the thing. That 161, your 50-day was still moving negative. When I say I'd rather see you buy on the way up, this is starting to turn up, and you have another MACD cross up. The problem is that the RSI is a little bit overbought at 62. So, but for long term, I'd rather see you buy here than buy down here and then have it go down to 140. Say, this one could come down from 167 to 161, but if you have support there, then it's just to buy a little bit more in dollar cost average. I just don't want to see you buy here at 161 on its way continued down. And that's a great example of what I see. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Walmart, we're in at 158, and you're trading at 168. So it's still in a solid uptrend. You see the 50 days turning positive, the 200 days still moving positive. You've got a positive moving stock heading into earnings on Wednesday. I mean, for me, I'd rather buy something a little bit less expensive, but Walmart has just been killing it. I think they'll continue to do very well. Now, some of our levered ETFs, this is TBT. This is the ultra short of the 20-year Treasury. This one is down 4% in pre-market. It is at 37.66, and it got you in at 39. I don't like to trade bond crap at all. I mean, bond funds for me, it just never is paid out. But if you want to trade it, TBT is the ultra short, so it's triple levered of the 20-year Treasury. So when the Treasury goes up, when the Treasury goes down, this goes up. And bond rates went down. I don't know why this one's down. This one should be up by 4% rather than down. Ultra short of the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 is just ripping. This one's down 10%. So any of the short stuff, you're going to get just killed. You're going to get destroyed. So SRTY, take these with a grain of salt. They just showed bullish tendencies on yesterday's chart. And so you wanted to wait. So let's talk about strategy. Say you were scanning yesterday in TrendSpider and you saw SRTY had a cross up in my algorithm, and you said, ooh, I should buy this because Gary's algorithm says I should buy it. Patience. Understand you had a huge catalyst today with the CPI number, the inflation number. There is no reason to buy or sell something before that huge catalyst. Take the opportunity and just look at it. If you had an opportunity to actually play this, you could have made 10% if inflation came in hot. There's no reason to. There's no reason to gamble. Take it and trade it as it goes. Now, sectors, XLV, which is healthcare. This one is up 0.41, so 126, good entry point. This is not participated in these rallies. If we look at a weekly of this one, you can see it's just consolidating. I totally expect healthcare to continue up. It's not like we're pulling back on healthcare spending in this country. In fact, I'm on open enrollment right now. XLE, we got another cross up here, 84. I don't know that I'd take this one because you got the death cross. And again, these scans are just meant to show you the algorithm's opportunities. Doesn't mean you have to take them. You want to take in all of the chart and understand that there is no perfect algorithm out there. In my video with Jason, we're going to go over how to enhance algorithms. I've tried with this one, this 4-hour algorithm. This is the best that I can do. And honestly, with XLE, over 2 years, if you bought and held, you made 44%. The algorithm makes you 27%. Now, here's the thing. 27% is still a great earnings over 2 years. The algorithm allows you to make that with safety, taking emotion out of your trade. There's a safety level to that. So safely, I made 27%. If I just bought and held, I risked, but I made 44%. So it doesn't mean that you're missing out. It just means that you have to take smart trades. Dexcom. This is one that I've said, hey, it's a $100 stock. It's back up at 98. I was pounding the table at 81. I said, you want to be careful because I'm not sure. Here at 85, we had confirmation. Probably should have gotten in on this. Algorithm got you out with a 13% gain, got you back in at 90. You're back up at 98. You're probably going to this 200-day at 105, 106. I think that 125, probably not in realm. It's significantly overbought with the RSI at 63. And up here in the MACD, you're seeing it cross up again. So we should get a second leg up. In pre-market, you're up 1.17 at 99. So Dexcom, one that I just like saying the name of, Hua. This is one, the reason I have this in, it was a buy here at 315 in late October. You're at 342. I know nothing about this company. They've already reported earnings, so the catalyst is gone. It's up 3% at 357. The reason I'm telling you about this one, you have a golden cross. I mean, talk about, golden cross with solid earnings with, up 4%, and you have confirmation, and you have another MACD cross up. Yes, the RSI is a little bit overbought at 61, but I think you're good. But I just like saying the name, Hua. Travelers, TRV. Let's look at TRV. Travelers, again, this is a Dow stock. You've almost got a golden cross. Now you're up from 164 to 170. This is an insurance company. Insurance companies are killing it. That's part of the reason why you buy Berkshire. But TRV, solid stock, confirmation. You're up 0.58. There's nothing exciting about this. This one you look for entries. But Travelers is one. Honeywell, HON, is part of the Dow. This is a solid company under the 200-day. And your 50-day just started moving positive. You're at 186. Secondary cross up above the oscillator on the MACD. Solid bullish move. Your RSI is at 56. It's in no man's land. You got a gap up here at 203. Could you get up there? Do your research, but understand from a charting perspective, this one looks pretty juicy. Procter & Gamble, PG, another Dow stock. You just crossed the 200-day and closed above the 200-day, so you might have some solid confirmation. The 50-day is moving positive. Would have been great to get it down here at 144 where the algorithm told you once you gained confirmation, it was time to buy. You have a gap here. They're past their earnings. The catalyst is already gone. We talked about CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks. Fortinet. This one has a buy here at 50. I would be very concerned about this. Your 50-day is moving negative. Your 200-day is moving negative. On their earnings, they said, we forecast negative effects. The first gap that you have to fill is between 51 and 57. In pre-market, you're at $50.90. Once you get past that 57, the 50-day should be moving positive, that blue line. Once you get there, then your next gap fill is between 65 and 74. I don't understand what's wrong with this company. It is cybersecurity. There is nobody pulling back on cybersecurity. So it's crazy to me that one is down that low. But I'm not risking something in a stock that where they gave weak guidance until something changes in that stock. General Dynamics. This is part of the S&P 500. This one, solid defense player. I mean, when it was under the 200-day and you had the golden cross here on August 1st at 217, should have been a catalyst to buy. Should have been clear as day to buy this one with potential war with the war in Israel and the Middle East and Ukraine continuing going on. So I'll include in the newsletter too 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 names in the energy sector that are bullish, but plenty of opportunities in this market. If we just go down here in the upper right, this is the core portfolio. You get access to this if you sign up for TrendSpider. Apple, up 1.59%. We've already got a 9% gain in that one. We're making even more. Amazon, a 1.7% up today. You're making more money in that one. Boeing, I've been telling you guys about Boeing. It's up above 207. You're just about to claim the 200-day again. The 50 days moving positive. Don't sleep on Boeing. Bank of America is a $30 stock. It's at $28.50. You can see the buy-in on the algorithm was $26.13. It got up here in November 3rd. It got up to $28.82. It's at $28.52. The 200-day is at $28.68. So look for that one to try and make a break above the 200-day. I don't have too much hope with the banks kind of in focus and, maybe some things breaking on the financial side. Cleveland Cliffs up 3% at 17. I've said this many times. It's at least a $20 stock, if not a $30 stock. I think my average purchase price is around 18, so I'm still in the red on this one. I have no qualms about adding to this one on the bullish move. You're going to create a gap here as long as we don't come down. Costco, Disney, Devon, Google at 135. I say buy it under 130. It probably gets under 130, but you got a gap up to 139. It's probably going to fill that one. Goldman Sachs, when it dipped under 300, I said buy this one. Book value is like 319 on this. The algorithm had you in at 301. You're up 10% to 332. Coke, it's up just a little bit at 57. This is a $60 stock. Absolutely get that one. Meta, I said buy it under 300. A huge gain on Meta. I mean, we're talking, this one's probably going back to 350 at some point. This one at 335, great buy. Microsoft, all-time highs, 371. Be very careful. I probably wouldn't add to my position in this one, but I'm absolutely going to look to trim at 52-week highs. Netflix, this one, 30% gains from where you got in. So again, solid play. Nvidia is probably going to 550 with their earnings. 495. Am I adding to this one? It's up 2% today. I'm probably holding on. Pan W, we went over. This is up at 260, 258 right now. Solid play. Palantir back under 20, 1986. That $20 mark, it didn't even hold it into the open. So be very careful with that one. Set your stop losses. I need to set my stop loss at 20 on that one. Roblox, over 40. I mean, we can continue to go down this. Even Tesla, where we had a nice 5% gain on TSLQ, and I said this button hook's forming, it's broken out above that button hook. We got this gap fill back down here to 206, and then boom, it took off. You're going to 240. I would say 250 might be in line if you get to that 200-day. So, okay, so continuing on, Uber. I talked about Uber. Well, before Uber, Taiwan Semi. I mean, we talked about the semis. I talked about this one being a $100 stock. It's at $99.28. It'll get to 100. You're over the 200-day. You've got your 50-day moving positive. Your 200-day is at 93. So you've got confirmation above the 9-day. I mean, solid play here. And if we just look at a weekly on this one and we go long-term, I'm a big believer in Taiwan Semi. They make all the chips for all the companies. Now, you do have to worry about potential China invasion. And that's why Warren Buffett got out of this. I think this one moves back up to these 119, 120 levels and then gets another catalyst forward. So I think with the China and U.S. easing some tensions, Xi coming to San Francisco, I think that's going to be a positive. Uber. I talked about Uber down in the 40s. It's at 53 now. Am I out? No. I know $50 was my price point, but I don't want to give up on this run. I'll just continue to set my stop loss a little lower. That's the way you play this market. XLY. Talk about XLY. XLY is up 2.7%. Reason? Well, Tesla is up 4% and Amazon is up 2.65. Those are the 50% of this ETF is made up with those two stocks. So down here at 151, I told you I like to buy XLY during weakness. I added a little bit, I think at about 155, 160. So I added a little bit. I think I even added it over here, and then I added it down here during this gap. But I've added it. Now the RSI is at 73. Am I going to add more? No. I'll wait for it. So again, you want to take an opportunity in this market to add to good positions. You also want to take an opportunity when there's beaten down stocks to take a look at them, because you do have rebounds that are super violent, like today, like Tom Lee said, face ripping rally. Let's go over some of the sponsors. TrendSpider. Like I said, you saw every chart on TrendSpider. If you want access to my algorithms, scanners, everything that I use, just sign up using this link, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. Seeking Alpha. Some of the paid stuff is fantastic. I'm telling you, import your own portfolio. Get your portfolio score from Seeking Alpha right here. This is the core portfolio. I've got a 3.73 health score. I watch this, and I watch these quant stocks, quant ratings of all the core portfolio stocks. You can see there's quite a few in the yellow. Doesn't mean they all have to be green. Just means that, you know, the ones in the yellow probably holds. The one in the greens, add to. That's how I use Seeking Alpha. Is, you know, like FBCG, 4.54. Yeah, add to it. 4.97 at Google, absolutely add to it. Coke, 4.78, add to it. Meta, 4.99, add to it. But that's how I use this tool. You can see XLY, it's got a 2 rating from Seeking Alpha analysts. They don't like it. But, you know, the quant rating is 4.16. I think it's a little bit overextended right now, so I tend to agree with Seeking Alpha analysts. I'd probably invest in Tesla and Amazon on itself. Just buy it on its own. But if you want Seeking Alpha, go over to Linktree, click on that link. You get $50 off your yearly subscription. Webull, get 12 free stocks. Just click on that link. 20 free shares. Now you get 20 free shares. I think they're running a like Black Friday thing over the week. But Webull, it's my preferred brokerage account for mobile. It's not my preferred mobile account for everything. It is my preferred account for mobile. I started with $1,000 at the beginning of the year in this account. I've now got $2,544. Mainly it's Apple. I've got Caterpillar. I've got Boeing. I've got TQQQ in there. I'm up 30% on that trade. I've got Snap. I've got Spotify. I've got Ford. I've got IONQ. I am up 10% on IONQ. Even though I was down after I purchased it, I'm up 10% on IONQ. I have Kraft Heinz. I have Google. I have Coke. I have Procter & Gamble. I have Starbucks. And I have Gap. So take a look at Webull. Again, $3 gets you free shares. I put $1,000 in there. I'd say use Webull. The desktop software is absolutely fantastic. I like it a little bit more than I like Active Trader Pro. In fact, I've started using Webull's desktop software. I just can't run it on this computer while I'm doing live on YouTube. Tesla, if you're buying a Tesla, right here, get 3 months free of free self-driving and $500 off. AT&T Fiber at your house. If you want AT&T Fiber, it's way better than cable. So take it from a former cable executive. The difference between cable and fiber with AT&T and other services, you want fiber. The reason is it's the same down as it is up. And that's a big thing for me, specifically uploading to YouTube and having your video conference. If you're ever on a video conference and it kind of dies out, it's probably cable because you're on a shared line. So I live on a cul-de-sac. Essentially, everybody on this cul-de-sac who has cable shares that line. With AT&T and the direct link to their fiber network, I'm not on a shared line. So if you want the 1 gig service, it's like $70. It's fantastic. I'm telling you, the amount of time that I save during the day, it's great. The newsletter is right here. Sign up for the newsletter. It is free. The paid newsletter is on the weekend, but during the week, it is absolutely free. You get all these stocks, you get all these charts, you get everything that you need to trade through my newsletter. If you want to pay for it, I'm going to up the price soon because I do think that the archives of the paid newsletters are really, really good with strategy. But if you want to pay for it, I think it's $8 a month with a free 7-day trial, or $80 a year. I'll probably up that to $10 a month and $100 a year. If you are currently in at the old prices, I launched it, I think $5.50 a year. And I've constantly, as I get more content, I'm raising the price because I do think that the content library is worth a little bit more. Visible, if you're paying anything more than $25 a month for your phone service, you are crazy. This is $25 a month for Visible service, which is run through the Verizon network. Easy, simple. Basically, you go and click on this. You download an eSIM to your phone. If you want to buy a phone, you can buy a phone from them too. They have great discounts on phones. But it's $25 a month. That's the service level that I have. If for some reason you have some data issues or there's you need more data, $35 a month. I can tell you as a single person, this is not like as low as. This is the price, $25 and $35. Even as a single person with one phone, I'm paying $25 or $35. It's great. It's great. It's fantastic. So I will be back tomorrow again. Like I said, I'm doing a video with Jason today, so I got to go prepare for this. Just watch today's rally. I mean, God. SMCI, 272. This one's up 6.72%. Shopify, we're going to 80 on Shopify. I'm telling you. Look at these solid gains here. Roblox, it's up above 40 again. Be careful. Put your stop losses in. Palantir, it's up above 20 again. I'll probably set my stop, probably sell it today at 20. The RSI on Palantir is at 71. So, okay, I'm out. See you tomorrow.
I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.